I'm Jason, your host, and as always, I'm here with my amazing co-host, Julia. Today, we're diving into a topic that I think a lot of us can relate to, especially in this age of endless advice, role models, and self-improvement content. We're talking about how to learn from others without losing your unique self. Julia, isn't this such an interesting and relevant topic?
Absolutely, Jason. With so many people offering advice and sharing their experiences, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed or even start doubting if we're doing things right in our own lives. But there's a balance we can find. We can learn valuable things from others, yet keep hold of who we truly are and what makes us unique.
Exactly, Julia. Sometimes, the challenge is figuring out how to adopt new habits or ways of thinking that genuinely help us without copying someone else to the point where we lose our individuality. So, let's explore some ways to approach learning from others while staying true to ourselves. To start, Julia, what do you think are the first steps to keeping that balance?
Good question. I'd say the first step is to always remember why you're inspired by someone in the first place. Are you drawn to their kindness, their work ethic, or maybe their confidence? Once you recognize what exactly inspires you, you can take that specific quality and think about how you can bring it into your life, in your own way. Does that make sense, Jason?
Yes, that's a great point, Julia. By focusing on qualities rather than trying to mimic every little detail of someone's life, we avoid becoming a copy. For example, if someone is very disciplined and that inspires you, try finding ways to build discipline that work for your unique lifestyle. And I think another important part of this is staying aware of your own strengths and values. Julia, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I completely agree. I think knowing your own strengths and values is essential because it gives you a foundation to build on. When you're aware of what you're good at and what matters to you, you can be selective about what you choose to adopt from others. You don't have to take in everything, just the things that align with your own personality and goals.
Exactly. And sometimes we can even learn what not to do by observing others. We don't always have to agree with everyone's approach or methods. It's about taking what resonates and leaving behind what doesn't. So, Julia, how do you suggest people stay connected to their true selves when they're learning from others?
That's a great question. One way to stay grounded is to make time for self-reflection. After you observe or learn something new from someone, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, does this feel right for me? Does it align with who I am and what I believe in? Reflection gives us space to think about how to apply new ideas without feeling pressured to adopt them exactly as they are. What do you think, Jason?
I think that's spot on, Julia. Reflection allows us to personalize what we learn, so we're not just following trends or copying blindly. And I'd add that it's also okay to try new things out and then decide it's not for you. Sometimes, learning from others is just about experimenting and seeing what fits and what doesn't. Julia, have you ever had that experience?
Oh, absolutely. I remember trying to adopt a morning routine I saw someone do. They woke up super early, exercised, read, and even journaled all before 7 a.m. I tried it, but it didn't suit my lifestyle at all. Instead, I took one part of it, journaling for a few minutes in the morning, and made it my own. That small change felt more natural to me and still brought a lot of benefits.
Yes, that's a perfect example. Sometimes, just one small change inspired by others can make a big difference. And it's wonderful that you found a way to incorporate it into your own unique routine, Julia. Another thing I'd suggest is having confidence in your own perspective. It's easy to feel like other people have all the answers, but remember, they're learning too.
Absolutely. No one has it all figured out. And often, the people we admire are still learning and growing, just like us. They're just a little further along in one specific area, and we can learn from that without feeling like we have to copy their whole life. And on that note, Jason, what would you say is a good call to action for our listeners?
Great question, Julia. For everyone listening, I'd encourage you to think of one person who inspires you and identify just one quality or habit of theirs that resonates with you. Then, instead of copying it exactly, think about how you can make that quality your own. Maybe it's being more organized, or more confident, or more patient. Try to integrate that quality into your life in a way that feels authentic to you.
I love that, Jason. And remember, it's okay to be selective and to adapt. It's a journey of finding what works for you and building a version of yourself that feels both inspired and true to who you are. So, don't be afraid to learn from others, but also trust that you have a lot to offer just by being your unique self.
Perfectly said, Julia. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, and thank you to all our listeners. We hope this episode helps you find ways to learn from others while keeping hold of your own uniqueness. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
Yes. And if there's a specific quality you're working on or a way you've adapted something from someone else, please share. Let's inspire each other and grow together in our own unique ways.
Thank you all for joining us today. Until next time, stay true to yourself and keep learning. Goodbye.
I checked your essay.
And?
Your ideas are great.
But?
Grammar needs work.
How bad is it?
Not terrible, but distracting.
Can you show me?
Here, she go to the market every Sunday.
Oh, that sounds wrong.
It is what's missing.
She goes.
Yes, third person singular needs S.
I keep forgetting that.
That's normal. Let's fix another.
Okay.
This sentence, yesterday, he walked to school.
Oh, it should be walked, right?
Exactly. Past tense needs ed.
I mix those up a lot.
Many students do.
How can I improve?
Read more, listen more.
Will that really help?
Absolutely. Your brain picks up patterns.
Sounds easier than memorizing rules.
It is, but practice matters too.
What kind of practice?
Writing, speaking, correcting mistakes.
Sounds like a lot.
It gets easier.
Promise?
Promise. Now, next mistake.